Natalie Kunsman, MD. And have you wondered why certain people are at the highest risk for COVID-19 complications or even death? Well, being an integrative physician, the stance is that on a person with an illness, it takes on a whole complex array of considerations, and functional and integrative work is highly specialized and personal. COVID is no exception. So if you think about the Western philosophy of taking care of an illness, we are looking for the one poison dart or the magic bullet against the pathogen. So we have one pathogen, one antidote. This is where currently an immunization would come in. Now, we may have some political controversy right now regarding some of this, but we also have some manufacturing considerations since these immunizations will start with animal DNA. And of course, we're going to infect animal DNA with a particular virus, but then they come with their own particular virome with other viral snippets, and so the process evolves to create that immunization. So I will just say that as far as the manufacturing process. And I will remind a lot of my patients that an immunization is only as good as the host, and we need an intact immune system for any immunization to work. So this brings on the Eastern philosophy, which is to support the health of a host. So we have the Western philosophy, one bullet, one antidote for one pathogen. And we have the Eastern philosophy, which is taking care of the host. So within this COVID-19 onslaught of information, we've heard a lot about zinc, oxygenation, hydration, high-dose vitamin C, herbs, melatonin, and this is all in an effort to supercharge the innate immune system to keep us battle ready. And then that brings us to some of the information we currently have for who is getting harmed and who may even be dying from COVID. This information comes from the functional and integrative world, but it also basically comes from the CDC. So those people who are highest risk are immune system that is compromised, diabetes, hemoglobin disorders, liver and or kidney failure, heart conditions, blood disorders, and obesity. So let's start with diabetes. Sugar is actually pro-inflammatory, and our red blood cells are getting glycosylated. So glycosylated means they're getting sticky with a sugar coating. So especially in a virus that wants to create a hypoxic situation, the hemoglobin is already compromised and sticky and not moving well in a capillary bed on top of a virus that wants to create a hypoxic situation. And this is just one proposed mechanism. Then we have some chronic kidney disease. Okay, this is another at-risk patient population. Well, the kidney's there to remove toxins, and if we're having difficulty removing toxins, the kidney is already in a compromised state because of this and may also not be able to support the immune system in its battle. But there's a secondary issue. The kidney is also in charge of secreting a hormone called erythropoietin, which helps us make our red blood cells. Again, this is a virus that wants to make us hypoxic. So if we cannot make the proper amount of red blood cells, or hence become anemic from our kidney-based troubles, this is a double hit against our ability to oxygenate with our red blood cells. Heart conditions may make some good logical sense because the name of the game for our survival in our tissue is energy and electrical potential and that oxygen molecule. So again, if we are creating a hypoxic situation and our lungs are compromised, of course, the heart will be most at risk because it needs most of our oxygen for its cellular activity, and it is a high energy organ. Chronic lung disease. Of course, if the host has chronic lung disease, this one may be what we are hearing at highest risk for some of that cytokine storm, which will create a lot of pro-inflammatory issues, a microscopic DIC picture within the capillary beds in that highly vascular lung tissue, and be very vulnerable to the secretions that are being manufactured in this cytokine storm. The surprise for many of you may be that obesity and severe obesity has put the patients at an equally as high risk. So obesity is also is pro-inflammatory by nature, as our adipose or fat tissue is created to harbor our toxic debris from our food. Again, fat is toxic. It is indicative that we have created and made a storage unit for these toxins. Now, there are some mechanical issues related to body positioning in the ICU and the ventilator as well, putting the obese patient at risk, but obesity also increases leptin and cuts down adiponectin. So leptin is pro-inflammatory, adiponectin quiets down inflammation. Also, we believe that the fat cell expansion can cause a lot of stress to the inner clockwork of the cell to manufacture its energy. Now, if there is hypoxia to the fat cell itself, they will release an inflammatory genes to activate immune systems, especially if this fat is truncal, which is around the waist area and belly fat, or visceral, which is in the tissue or the viscera internally, such as the liver. The bottom line is where COVID-19 is concerned, we can let the researchers and the scientists work on the poison darts and the magic bullets for the antidote. Let us bring our Western philosophy with our Eastern approach, and your job right now is to work on your body as that host, and we want to create a hostile environment for this virus. So if you have any of these conditions that we just discussed, if you are working on those, you will already be cutting down your risk of severe complications to this virus. Again, I'm Natalie Kunsman, MD. Let's merge our Eastern and Western models, but today, start working on you. Until we meet again, be well.